Bush.
Thank you. St. Louis and I are here today to continue our efforts to hold our government to its highest ideals, including equal justice under law. Assistant Attorney General Clarke, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
And thank you for your career of public service in support of civil rights for all people. I was excited to see your nomination and your confirmation to this role, and I do believe that you are doing your best to advance the cause of justice inside the government. And as an activist from the Ferguson Frontline to Congress, I just want to say thank you for your work. But as I have said before many times, including to Attorney General Garland when he was here in September, I think that the department can do more to advance civil rights and the rule of law. These problems, of course, are system-wide, and they predate your time at Justice. So I want to ask Assistant Attorney General Clarke, the Civil Rights Division handles cases that involve law enforcement misconduct and the violation of federal rights, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I strongly believe the actions of Georgia law enforcement regarding the killing of a protester named Tori Bush and the suppression of opposition to the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, or is also known Cop City, are obvious examples of law enforcement misconduct resulting in the violation of federal rights. And I urge the Civil Rights Division to open an investigation. What's happening in Atlanta can happen anywhere in the country, and we need the DOJ to do your part in preventing that from happening. Another issue I want to follow up on is the department's enforcement of Title VI and the anti-discrimination provisions of the Safe Streets Act. This vital law makes clear that the department has an obligation to ensure the recipients of funding do not engage in discrimination like what we've seen in my district, which includes Ferguson, Missouri, and as detailed by the DOJ's 2015 pattern and practice investigation following the police killing of Michael Brown. I was glad to see the commitments that Associate Attorney General Gupta announced in June 2022 that strengthened the enforcement of the Title VI provisions, and we've had that conversation, but I have yet to see any meaningful progress by the department in implementing any of them. So do you have any updates for the committee about the department's implementation of these commitments?
If I could flag one area, Congresswoman, it would be environmental justice, where we have made historic accomplishments in using Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to stand up for communities that are beleaguered by environmental injustice problems. Houston, Texas, and Lowndes County, Alabama are two examples of places where we have, for the very first time, used Title VI to address issues that disproportionately impact Black and Latino communities when it comes to environmental justice.
All right, thank you for that. One final issue I want to raise with you is conditions at local prisons and jails. I have been demanding answers about the horrific conditions at the St. Louis City Justice Center in my district, where yet another incarcerated person died this weekend. I know your team has investigated conditions at jails in South Carolina and elsewhere, and I would just love to speak with you more about this issue. We must not forget the humanity of people who are incarcerated. And in my closing, let me just say this. We know we can't prosecute our way to justice, but the Civil Rights Division is the crown jewel of the department, and for good reason. I know that there are people in the division who want to use the law to stop discrimination instead of enabling it, to stop police brutality and the suppression of legitimate protest and dissent instead of enabling it, to stop the relentless and inhumane attack on our LGBTQ communities instead of enabling it. That is the work of the Civil Rights Division. It's what you've done, and I know it's what you'll continue to do, despite the efforts of the right-wing extremists to strip away our civil rights and make discrimination the actual law of the land. We won't let those efforts succeed. Assistant Attorney General Clarke, thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do in support of equality and justice for all. I am your ally in this work, and I look forward to partnering with you as we continue on in our shared priorities. And in my final few seconds that I have left, plus the last one went over a little bit, so I think I have a little bit more time. If there is anything else that you would like to speak to or clear up that has been said.
Thank you, Congresswoman. People do not abandon their civil and constitutional rights at the jailhouse door. I'm glad that you brought up jail conditions. Our enforcement of the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act is an important priority for us. You noted our recent investigation opened in South Carolina. We're also investigating prison conditions in Georgia. Texas, where we're looking at juvenile detention facilities, Harchman in Mississippi, New Jersey, and more. Such an important area of enforcement for this Justice Department Civil Rights Division.
Thank you. And I yield back.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Mr. Fry.